Hey, Mr. or Miss Owner, I am reaching out to you because either I or Joshua have already reached out to you to see what you want to do about that vacant house that you own here in New Jersey. So, before I begin, just want to introduce myself, or rather reintroduce myself. My name is Robert Savori. Here you go. See where the cursor is at. I work over at United Real Estate Agency. My phone number is 908-432-2526. I'm a fully licensed agent here in the state of New Jersey. And so is somebody who I work with, Joshua Santillán over here. So you may have received a letter or a phone call or a text message from Joshua. And this is our video going out to you so that you can at least take into consideration what we are trying to accomplish over here. And this is being done for you. All right, so let me begin this because I've talked about this many times with many owners, and I figure let me just put it on YouTube so that you could watch it. I have over here this postcard that I have not um, sent out in quite a long time. I know it's a little, it's not the best postcard. It's not the best looking postcard in the world. I had to cover my the the real estate agency that I was with quite some years ago. I just put United Real Estate Agency over here, and this over here, you see like a red bar here. I had their information there as well. But sorry, I'm not that good with what is it, with like Photoshop. So that's something that I don't want to be good at, and I'm okay with it. I'm gonna allow other people to be good at it. I'm not a control freak like that. So look, the question is, would you drive your car without liability insurance? And this is why I'm asking, because your house is here in New Jersey, and I'm sure, as you probably have a vehicle, or know somebody who has a vehicle. That here in the state of New Jersey, your insurance consider like the type of insurance that you need here in the state of New Jersey consists of two items, right? Number one, you need liability insurance, and number two, you need collision, right? So liability is for anybody who gets hurt, right? So you get into a car crash, or either like your car, like your vehicle is the only vehicle in this accident, or maybe there's another vehicle as well, and there's people involved, and then there's injury. Then that's liability, right? Collision is for any of the physical damage that happens to the vehicle or vehicles, right? So if it's a total loss, guess what? You have that covered. That's great. With liability, with the liability part of the insurance, you know, you break a rib, or you need to go to the hospital, whatever. That's covered there, right? Now, why am I making this video so that you are fully aware of what is going on here? Okay, so I'm gonna just read this. All right. So would you drive your car without liability insurance? Um, well, that's what happens with a vacant and pre-foreclosure house. Right. The mortgage company places insurance on the house to cover fires, pipes, freezing, vandalism, or any other physical damage done at the house. In other words, they only put the collision part of the insurance on the property. Okay. However, the mortgage company does not put liability insurance on the house. So if someone gets hurt on the property, interior or exterior, the owner may be liable. Okay. The following are a few examples of what may happen: snow freezes on sidewalk, and someone slips on ice. Kids playing in backyard and someone breaks a bone. Backyard lawn attracts animals that are a danger to neighbors, etc. Okay. If you want to prevent any of these possible liabilities from happening at your vacant house, call or email me anytime. I can help you at no cost to you. Remember, it would be a short sale, so it would not cost you anything. I am the expert who helps owners deal with the situation. I am, because I not only work with the bank many times the bank, if there's any damage that's done to the property, then they will require an insurance agent to go out there. I work with a whole bunch of them. I know the whole process. Let me see, at no cost to you. So why wait? There are options that will benefit you. So you know, you may have some questions regarding this. Okay, so all right, well, like, what if something else happens? So, like, think about it. Right now you are probably doing what you're doing right now. You're living somewhere else. Like, obviously, because this house is vacant. You're either renting somewhere, or you're owning another house. but things seem normal, or good, or great, right? Um, but then imagine just getting a phone call from the police department or from the fire department of your vacant house, or even some like letter from another attorney that who's going to initiate a lawsuit against you because somebody got injured like on your property, right? What many owners have told me before, well, they would say, well, I have nothing to do with this house. This house belongs to the bank. Well, guess what? If the bank has not foreclosed on the property just yet, then the house still belongs to you. All right. You may have left the house a year ago, 4 years ago, 5 years ago, 6 years ago. All right. If the bank has not foreclosed, legally foreclosed the property, then the house still belongs to you. Your name is on the deed still, like you're still on title. All right. Many people don't understand this, and I'm gonna give you an example. You can even Google this. All right. There's a property at 166 Mill Street, 166 Mill Street, Paterson, New Jersey. Google it. Google fire, and I think it was like August of 2015. Right now, I know this is a while ago, but this is a perfect example of what happened. Right. So the owner of that house, I had been trying to get in contact with him. Actually, I did contact him for about 2 years before that fire happened, and I remember speaking with him several times, and he told me, well, I filed for bankruptcy, Robert. My attorney told me to just leave the house. And this is the thing. He was living in one of the apartments. I think it was on the first floor, and he was renting out the two other apartments. So what happened was, when he finished with his bankruptcy, the attorney told him, "Look, it's not your house anymore. Just leave it, and you have to tell the tenants to leave as well." Okay, so that's what he did. He requested that the tenants leave, and then he also left. All right, and he believed the attorney. All right. Unfortunately, the attorney was incorrect in this matter. I mean, he did help him, thankfully with the bankruptcy, and this particular owner, his mortgage was completely discharged, so he never had to pay anything to the bank regarding his mortgage. However, he still did own the property. So if he didn't want anything to do with the property, he should have sold it. All right, and this is where I come in, and it won't cost him anything. It would not have cost him anything. Anyway, the reason why I'm bringing up the story is because, as I mentioned, there was a fire. Okay, within a week, he calls me up. All right, this is 2 years of me, you know, um, asking him, hey, like what do you do? Like, what do you want to do with this house? So now he calls me up and he says, Rob, I need to sell this house and immediately. All right, and I'm just wondering, okay, cool, like why the change of heart? He tells me, number one, that there's a fire, and I'm like, wow. I mean, is everybody, did anybody get hurt? Well, he told me that nobody got hurt, but the fire, like where his house is at, and if you once again just Google this house, just Google Map it. The house is there's literally like 5 feet of space between the house on the right and the house on the left. So when his vacant house caught on fire, because there were people in there, I don't know if it was kids or if it was squatters, or maybe somebody going in there and smoking up or whatever, or whatever the heck they were doing in there. But it caused the house to catch on fire, and it caused damage to the two other houses next door, right? So now imagine he's just doing what he's doing with his family, with his life, right? And he actually had the Patterson Police Department go to his house because check this out, like where he lives, where he was living, was literally like a 4 minute drive from his vacant house. Like not even he could probably walk there in about 10 minutes, right? But he was shocked by the Patterson Fire Department and the police department going to his door, and he told them the same thing that he had told me for years, which is my attorney told me it was mine. It doesn't belong to me. Well, Patterson police said, hey, this house belongs to you, man, and this is a problem. So what did the owner do the next day? He contacted the very same attorney who told him that the house did not belong to him. All right, and the attorney looked into it, and the attorney, says, well, you know what? This house does belong to you, and I see that you have a legal problem here. I'm gonna have to charge you a retainer if you want to use my services. So talk about like adding insult to injury, right? I mean, it was the same attorney who told him the house doesn't belong to him, but now it does, and now he wants to get out of a legal problem that he could have 100% prevented. He's gotta, like pay this attorney, right? So, this has only happened once, in my real estate career, with something this big. I've had like other incidents where there were, people who got hurt or like overgrown grass, and the owners would have to constantly go to court for like snow in front of the sidewalk and trash, like in the backyard, and it was just like they would go to court and tell the judge, the house doesn't belong to me. It doesn't belong to me. I filed for bankruptcy and this and that. It got foreclosed on. The bank resecured it, and the judges would say, "Listen, it belongs to you. Like your name's on title." And the owner would be like, well, "I don't know how to get rid of this house now. I gotta wait till the bank forecloses, or you can call me up and I can help you with the short sale, so we can expedite that process of removing your name from the deed." So just please take this into consideration, okay? That what Josh and I are trying to do, all right, is we're just trying to prevent a problem. That's it. You may say, well, nothing's gonna happen. Well, you know what? This is why I have the picture over here of these two cars getting into an accident, because the definition of an accident is like you don't know when it's gonna happen. Like nobody goes into the car and thinks, okay, I'm gonna get into an accident on Route 80, right, on Route 46, right? You're trying to go from point A to point B, but you get into an accident, and it just messes everything up. I mean, oh my god, like I haven't gotten into an accident, I personally, and it was a small like fender bender years ago, and all the paperwork that's involved and the time and this and that. I can't even imagine if there's somebody getting hurt at a house or a fire at a house. So what I'm letting you know is, please take this into consideration. All right, look, banks do this. I don't want to say on purpose to like get at owners, okay, because the house is vacant. Remember, like anybody, even you would do it. Like you're just trying to save money, right? So what a bank does is they like once a house becomes vacant and you stop paying the mortgage, all right, or you stop paying the mortgage first and then you vacate the property, and there's no insurance on the house. All they're gonna do is place the minimum type of insurance on the property. Like if somebody gets hurt, the bank is like, well, I'm not on the deed. I mean, that's gonna be the owner's problem, all right. But if the house catches on fire or somebody breaks into it and takes all the pipes, right? If they take like the water meter because the water meter is metal and you can sell it, right? And then all the water gushes out. I've been into houses where like the water, like where the water level goes to the ceiling of the basement, and then there's mold growth everywhere. I mean, it's a complete disaster. Anyway, so the bank, like all the bank has to do is just file a claim now. Why could they do that? They have liability on. I mean, not liability. The same thing as a car does. Collision, right? For they have insurance for the physical damage of a property. Okay, so that's why they are covered. Okay, you will not be covered, unfortunately. Right now, once again, I'm okay. It's okay that I sound like a broken record. This is my job. This is why you should not have your name on this property. All right. In other words, call me or call Josh, and we can start this process. Remember, it does not cost you anything at all, and we will try to get it done as soon as possible. One other thing too that I just wanted to mention now, a lot of people don't understand this in terms of like bankruptcy, because this is the number one objection that I get. When people say, "Well, the house is vacant; it's not mine anymore." I filed for Chapter 7 bankruptcy. Okay, and sometimes they even say, "Well, the attorney told me it's not mine anymore." Okay, so just remember that we're here in the state of New Jersey, right? And in the state of New Jersey, we are like one of, I think, like 22 or 23 states in the country where when somebody buys a house, right, their name goes on the deed. Okay, so what does that mean? That means that when a bank wants to foreclose on your property, they have to do they have to do it legally, meaning that they have to go through a legal court process, right? Now, I'll give you an example. So, let's say you're buying a car. I'll give you an example of like how like why like putting your name on the deed or on the title is important in terms of like foreclosures and like the time it takes to foreclose on a property or take a property back, right? So not back, but just take the property, right? So like let's say you buy a car for $25,000, and then this is an example. You buy a car for $25,000. You put $5,000 down, right? So that means that you have a loan for about $20,000, and you're supposed to be paying it within 5 or 6 years, right? But like let's say a year goes by and then you can't make the payments anymore, right? Um, and you miss 1 month. You get the phone calls from the bank. 2 months, maybe you're not calling back, but what's the bank gonna do, right? They're like they're gonna want to repossess your car, right? Now, many people say, well, like why did they repossess so quickly? Remember when you bought that car, right, for $25,000 and you put the $5,000 down, your name did not go on the deed. All right, your name was not on title. Okay, it's the bank's name. So that car really belongs to the bank. That's why they can take it. Okay, that's why it only take if you're late on your on that property on your car for just a few months, like they'll hire some tow like some towing company. They'll go in the middle of the night and they'll take it, and they could do that legally, no problem. However, when you buy a house, all right, whose name goes on the deed? It's your name. It's the owner's name. Okay. So in order to take the house from you, all right, okay, they have to go to court to file what's called the lis pendens. Okay, which is a legal term, I think for like not pre foreclosure, but like lawsuit, something like that. I forget. And it takes some time. It takes many months, even many years, to foreclose on the property. So even though you file Chapter 7 bankruptcy, what that does is the mortgage that you owe on that property and whatever other like creditors that you have, like if you had a credit card or like an auto loan or like a judgment or whatever, you include it in that Chapter 7 bankruptcy. You don't have to pay for that ever, right? But remember, and usually, like let's say you have a car, you have an automobile, right? The bank will go that same day. Like they'll hire some towing company to get your car. Why? Because once again, the car didn't belong to you. Your name is not on the title of that vehicle. All right, but your house is different. All right, they still have to foreclose on your property, and it could take years. So this is why your house is vacant, and this is why it still belongs to you. So even though the bank has already resecured it, and this is what they do is only when the house is vacant. By the way, a lot of people think, oh, they, like the bank is gonna come and like kick me out. They don't do that. They don't do that. All right. Um, they only resecure the property when they are 100% sure that everybody has vacated this house. All right. And then remember, we're here in New Jersey, so it gets really cold, in the winter. So they winterize the house as well. They take all the water out of the pipes, out of toilets, sinks, out of the furnaces, and out of the water heaters. Basically, there's no water in the house, and they turn off the water meter. They resecure the property, meaning that they change the locks on the door. They do a few other things as well. I forget, but anyway, I could talk about this for a really long time, but I'm gonna cut it over here. And I hope this answered a few questions that you may had in terms like that you may have had in terms of your vacant house. Okay. Um, Once again, just give me a call. You could call me or Josh at 908. Well, my number is 908 432 2526. And Josh's is, let me drag this over here. It's 973 405 1413. We absolutely enjoy doing this. It gives us a lot of joy, to help out people with the situation and to prevent problems. Because you know what, there's many times where I sit down with individuals who own these houses, and it's almost usually not just them who's the owners, right? It's they're like maybe their moms or dads or married or have kids, and like the last thing you need Mr. or Mrs. Owner of this house, is like for your whole family to be affected by this. You know, it's gonna affect your future. Just get rid of it. It will not cost you a penny. You know, consult your attorney about it. You know what? And I even ask you, just ask your attorney just this one question: does this property still belong to me? All right, that's it. Because many attorneys will say, you know, no, it doesn't belong to you. You don't have to do anything, but just ask. Okay, run title on it. Okay, do a title search. If your name comes back as the owner, it belongs to you. Okay, so I'm gonna cut it here. Okay, thank you very much, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.